Not gonna lie, I get really nervous spray painting while on camera.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Driver's Apex. So this is going to be part 3 of this paint series where I'm refurbing the front of the E30. So I'm hoping to get some content out soon so that I can get some comments and some advice before we go to full paint and clear coat, because once we go there, it's kind of hard to go backwards. I need to run out and get some more primer. I can definitely see some scratches that are left over, but the guide coat will help me find and kind of fix as much of that as possible. So let's jump into part 3. Let's get probably the final coats of primer and maybe even perhaps a thin layer or 2 layers of base coat. All right, so this is gonna be my focus for this piece for tonight, is trying to work on some of this, and then I noticed some scratches here, pretty much right there. So we're gonna work there. Got to work quick with this stuff. And I know I've said this a million times, guys, I am not a professional. This is just me trying to do this stuff on my own. And any help, any advice, anything like that is definitely appreciative. I'm probably at the max here in terms of filler that we're using. I want that to kind of be square so that I can work with it. I might have to work it once more afterwards, and that's okay. Just to kind of clean it up. But I think that's about where we're at right now. Sit here for a while. It doesn't take more than 15 or 20 minutes, and it's pretty much dry. You can see it's just about dry. So we're at that 80 to 90% point where now I'm just filling in imperfections. So we're gonna smooth this back out, guide coat it, and then really look for any imperfections. Anything that's less than 10% I'm probably gonna ignore. But anything more, yeah, I've got a little spot there, that's gonna need to be fixed. We're not gonna worry about it because I really want to have this thing at least a couple coats of paint on it. That is the goal. All right, so let's show you what we've been up to. So just filling in a couple little teeny marks there. Most of the work was here. Just trying to square that off. It's not gonna be perfect, that I guarantee. I might even try to work there real quick. But here, a lot of scratches still. They're a little bit of just not quite smooth enough. And then in the time lapse you saw me here, this is just filling in scratches because this will be accessible and visible while the bonnet is open. And then these are all the little repair marks that I've made. These should be the last glaze repairs that I need to make on the bumper and the valance. Some of this here is just trying to square that line off. Do the best I can. Scratches, 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 stuff like that. So Thursday, I'm pretty confident we'll be painting. All right, everyone, so I'm gonna call it quits for the night. I'm not about rushing the process as much as I am excited. That excitement can lead to a whole can of worms being open when it comes to paint and prep work. So by rushing, you end up making things worse. So I'm gonna take my time, start again tomorrow. Because I'm not a painter, and I know that I might make some mistakes on the application of the base coat, the color, as well as the clear. Fingers crossed it's hopefully really small. I want to make sure that the prep work here is done as well as possible, and especially since we're using a silver metallic, any kind of stray sanding marks are just magnified by the metallic. So I want to make sure that I'm at least like that 90% prep work stage. Otherwise, I'm probably going to see some imperfections. Being type A, it might drive me up the wall, but part of this project for me as well is not to stress too much on the details, but that's part of my channel, is being really attentive to the details. So I want to be attentive to as many details as possible with this project, and I'm hopeful in the next couple of weeks we'll be rewarded with a really clean paint job, and perhaps we will transition to the fenders and then even to the hood or the bonnet, as some say. So I don't know, let's see, but let's get going, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, let's lay down some primer. But I think before we do that, try to stick that on there. See how that works? Oh, that's perfect. Otherwise, if I try to paint, that's gonna get all messed up right there. All right.
So all we've got to do, wet it down. I've got 600 grit, and that is because we're using a silver metallic paint. And it's my understanding that I'm just essentially knocking down any of the roughness from the primer. I'm not trying to reshape or try to burn through the primer or anything like that. All I'm trying to do is just knock down the primer that gets really, really kind of like abrasive-y, rough feeling. So I'm just trying to get rid of that. That's really all that I'm doing. So I've got a couple schools of thought here. First is going to be the tack rag. So we're going to tack rag everything. The wind's not too bad. I'm going to keep it open, I think. What I might do is, this color is pretty close, and I may strip the center with this in an attempt to use less of the correct paint color, because I'm probably a couple weeks out before I get any. So I've got one can of correct paint color. Whew, that sun is bright.
Man, that's a lot of flame. Alright, there's our base coat, so 244.
so I'm done for the day. I think priming's a whole lot more fun because if you make a mistake, you can sand it, you can restart, all that type of stuff. Already started with the base coat and 4 or 5 or 6 mistakes already, just little splatters. So I've got to fix those. I'm gonna let them dry probably like 24 hours. I try to like smooth them out a little bit, so I gotta sand them out and try to blend all this back in. So a little disappointed in myself, but I knew this would happen. It's not the end of the world. So far, everything's looking really good, and I'll see you back tomorrow.